Welcome to T-Level Training, getting ready to assess media, broadcast and production. My name is Pete Wardle and I am the lead moderator for the Occupational Specialism in Content Creation and Production. Today's training will provide an introduction to assessment. This will cover understanding the structure of assessment, understanding the client brief booklet. We will also provide some top tips for delivery and assessment. In today's training, we will be referring to the specification and to the sample assessment materials. Understanding the structure of assessment. The assessment comprises 7 tasks as shown in the table. We will discuss each of these tasks in more detail in subsequent training modules. Tasks 1 to 6 will be scheduled by the provider over a 10-week period specified by Pearson. Task 7 is completed under invigilation and sat simultaneously by all students at a time scheduled by Pearson. This may be after or towards the end of the 10-week period given for the other tasks. Tasks 1 to 6 must be scheduled in numerical order. Each task must be completed and submitted prior to students commencing the next task. Tasks 1 to 6 will be scheduled by the provider over a 10-week period specified by Pearson. The table shown gives an example of how this schedule might be broken down. Providers will mark the internally assessed work for every student. Work must be marked in accordance with the mark scheme. Pearson's trained moderators will then review the submitted sample of student work to check the accuracy and consistency of assessment decisions. Understanding the client brief booklet. Assessment is based on a simulated vocational scenario set around a client brief. The client brief booklet provides detailed information relating to the scenario, requirements, and constraints of the outcomes that will be proposed, produced, and evaluated in tasks 1 to 6. The client brief booklet is given to students along with task 1 and is then used throughout tasks 1 to 6 to support the production of media content. The client brief booklet is broken down into several headings as follows. The set task brief. This is a short introduction to the scenario and will identify the client and set the overall theme of the media content to be produced. The client brief. This section gives more detail of what the client requires in the media content to be produced. This will include information about the aims of the media content the client is commissioning and the target audience they aim to reach. This section should also give information about the intended impact of the media content. The budget. A budget for the project will be given, listing the elements of the production that should be included within the budget. The content requirements. The client brief will always require students to produce 2 pieces of media content. Students are directed to select 2 types of content from the following. Finished moving image content. This could be a video or animation for a specific type of platform. Finished audio content. For example, a completed segment for a podcast. Finished content for a publication. For example, a downloadable digital leaflet or poster, or for a website. This could include written content, photography, and/or illustrations. The techniques that students are required to use within the content will change dependent on the theme and audience of the client brief. For example, students may be asked to produce video or audio content that includes a presenter narrating an introduction or interviewing a guest. Branding. Students will be required to create or work within given parameters of a consistent brand identity for the client. As part of the brief, students may be provided with some elements of the identity to be included. For example, a color scheme or logo. Legal and ethical considerations. The content produced must meet with all necessary legal and ethical requirements. Environmental commitment. Students are expected to demonstrate how all content will be produced and delivered in such a way so as to have minimal environmental impact and contribute to a sustainable future. In planning the production of content, students could include factors such as selection of resources, materials and distribution methods, recycling, reusing materials, and minimizing transportation. The final deadline. The deadline given in the client brief reflects the final submission deadline. Although the provider will schedule assessments within the 10-week assessment window, Task 3 will also require students to create a schedule for the separate elements of production and post-production that they will undertake during tasks 4 and 5. Negotiated cost list. A cost list will be provided that includes the various aspects of costs that may be included in the budget created by students in Task 3. Lead moderators' top tips. You should carefully consider time and resources required in advance when scheduling assessment sessions. Students should select 2 types of content that will best demonstrate their strongest production and post-production skills. Students should carefully read and respond to all elements of the client brief booklet, including the scenario, the aims of the media content the client is commissioning, the target audience they aim to reach, the intended impact of the media content, the budget and schedule requirements, the content requirements, such as the techniques to be included, branding and consistency across different platforms, environmental commitment. The slide now on screen provides the key methods of contacting Pearson if further support is required. Eight training modules are available to support the occupational specialism in content creation and production, including an introduction and separate modules relating to tasks 1 to 7. Other resources you may find useful include a delivery guide, a scheme of work, and guide standard exemplification materials, which include commentaries on student work at pass and distinction grades. These are available on the Pearson website. Information about current training opportunities can also be found on the Pearson website. Thank you for completing today's training session on the T-Level Media Broadcast and Production, Occupational Specialism in Content Creation and Production.